Hi, everybody. It is Saturday, September 28th, and it just arrived in Charlottesville, North Carolina with Lyle. We are starting our second half of our tour tonight. It was originally supposed to be last night um, outside of Atlanta, but because of the hurricane, we ended up having to cancel that show. So we got in and we are starting tonight. Before I even do any more, my heart so goes out to the people that are suffering so much through this incredible natural disaster that has taken place. So many people hurting really bad. And you think of all the people, all the animals that have drowned and died during this, the amount of incredible land that has been just decimated. It's just incredible when these things happen, and all you can do is feel for them. There's really nothing you can do about it except just feel grief for the suffering that's taking place in there. We're going to be hitting a lot of these places on this. I'm going to try to get around and see how people are doing, but it's a tough one. Just getting here was an adventure. Maureen finally felt well enough where she and Tom and David, two of her best friends, the three of them, went to New York and spent a week in New York, 5 days or so, 6 days, and then came down to Asheville, where the Biltmore estate is, and went to see that with the Dale Chihuly art exhibit there, his glass. And apparently they got out just in time because of so much of what they were seeing is now underwater or just completely destroyed. But they flew back, and the night before last I was or it was early yesterday morning probably, I had to go pick her up at LAX, and the flight got in at 1:45 in the morning. So by the time I got her home, and she ended up with a really bad cold, she went to bed and I was working around the house still. I had some book orders I wanted to get out before I left on the road and stuff. So I didn't sleep at all with that, and taking care of the dogs because I had the gardeners on Friday morning, dealing with all that crap, and then went to Burbank Airport, and our flight was delayed over a half hour taking off to Dallas, Fort Worth. And so we finally took off and got to Dallas. We got to the gate, and there was another plane at the gate, so we had to sit for like another 20, 30 minutes waiting for them to get that plane out. Got to the gate. The rollout, tunnel that comes to the plane for you to deplane with wasn't working. I was looking out the window and the thing was like just jiggling. So it took a while for them to get that there. Well, I finally get off the plane and I'm running through DFW. I get to my gate for my connection to Charlotte. I'm sorry, it's Charlotte. And they had closed the door. They closed boarding 3 minutes before I got there. So I'm looking out, and there's the plane sitting there for like another 5 minutes or so, but they wouldn't let me get on the plane. So then I had to go make arrangements for another flight and a hotel arrangement because I was going to be there all night, and finally got out on a 5 a.m. flight this morning. So by the time I got to a room and all that, I had a 3:30 wake up call, and it was like 2:30. So I've had about an hour and a half sleep in 2.5 days. So I'm feeling pretty crisp right now, to say the least. But I made it here, and my luggage did make it. So I have my stage clothes with Lyle. So tonight will be our first show, and we're going until early November. We'll be out here. But I thought, and I'm going to start filming venues again and discovering where the hell Brad's hiding, and start interviewing the other members of the group who want to be shared with you. And so I'm going to do that. But I thought I'd just play a little music while I'm here in the hotel room because we're leaving at 3:00, and I don't know what it is right now. It's early. It's still got a little while before we check out. I remember back in 1968, I think it was probably at the Hullabaloo or the Aquarius Theater, which were the same thing. I just can't remember what the name was at that point. I went and saw, there was so much great live music in Los Angeles. And I went there and I saw the headliner was Canned Heat. The second act was the original fresh Sly and the Family Stone, still like in street clothes, who were unbelievable. And opening the show was the original Sons of Champlin. Now, I was a fan of everybody on that bill, and certainly Sons of Champlin were such a great band with Bill Champlin basically, had that together and seeing them. And over the years, I ended up becoming good friends with Bill. And I found a track that I played on with him, or an album that I played on with him. And I'm going to go ahead and let me get some credits here on this thing. It was an album called Runaway from 1981. It was produced by David Foster. And I'm going to find some credits on here, see where are the credits? Come on, you look at these things and it's just like so useless sometimes. Let me refresh this page here in my high-tech world that I live in. It's pretty sad. Come on. I'm gonna actually hold on just a sec. I'm gonna just go back and grab this one more time and see if it'll. Yeah, it's weird. It's frozen up here. I'm gonna close this window and come back to it. This is how the pros do it. Hold on just a minute here. I'm going to go to all music and see what we got. Hold on. Bill, Champlin. So let's jump down here to discography. This is, oh God, it's just fantastic. Runaway. Credits. Okay. I shared bass duties on this with the great Abe Laboriel. Bill Champlin is down as arranger, composer, guitar, keyboards, primary artist, vocals. Carmen Grillo on vocals there. Charles Loper on trombone. Chuck Finley on trumpet. David Foster, string arrangement, synth, vocals. David Leonard, assistant engineering. Ed Green on drums. Gary Grant on trumpet. We lost Gary recently. It really breaks my heart. Gary Herbig on saxophone. Jay Graydon on guitar. Jeff Porcaro on drums. Jerry Hay on trumpet and horn arrangements. John Pierce on bass. John Robinson on drums. Kenny Loggins, vocals. Kim Hutchcroft on saxophone, Larry Tolbert on drums, Larry Williams on saxophone, myself on bass, Steve Lukather on guitar, Tamara Teosian on vocals, Tom Kelly vocals, Tom Scott on saxophone, Vanetta Gloud on vocals, and Bill Reichenbach on trombone. I mean, it's a lot of people, so all the different tracks had different people on them. I know this track was myself and Jeff. I don't know how the other crediting was on this, but I am going to go ahead and play this because it's a really cool track, but there's elements of Peter Cetera in Chicago in this, which is easy to see because David Foster was producing it. And also it's got some Daryl Hall vibe to me on this thing too. But this is called Without You is the track. And I'm going to go ahead and play this for you now. So this is Bill Champlin and from 1981. Here, let's listen to some music before I go off to work. Listen to the drum fill. Rubinstein is the bass. Man, I loved playing with Jeff Porcaro. God, do I miss that guy. And it was always a joy. Every time I've talked about this in the past, where I've still got all my old date books from sessions I did back into the 70s in the beginning. And there was such a long period where there's so many dates written down in there. And all it says is Jeff on them. Because if I knew Jeff was going to be playing drums, I didn't care who I was working with. I knew it was going to be great. And when he passed, it was like just, I've never been sucker punched so hard in my life as that when I got the word that he had passed away. But I really cherish whenever I listen to this stuff. Boy, I'm like right there in the room with him again. I can still hear his voice. I can still see when we'd be listening to playbacks and how he moved when he'd listen to playbacks and stuff. It was like something else, really something else. It was interesting when I got to Burbank Airport, as I was checking in, it was like one of these moments where I kind of looked over and, oh God, I'm going to share this story later on this because I'm just spacing out right now. I'm so tired right now. I mean, I'll be okay for the show. I'm going to take, because I really haven't slept at all. And I need to get some rest here. But all I know is my heart is so with all these people going through this. I know I heard from our guys that the buses for the tour were leaving Nashville and taking, I guess, I-40 here to Charlotte, and the highway's gone. And they had to take a huge route all the way around this area. I mean, it's unbelievable. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that. And it's just sad. So I got to get some rest. I'm really, really tired right now. So take good care. I'm going to film the venue tonight. I'll probably throw something up, not throw it up. I'll add another little video later on once we get to the venue, because I don't know where we're playing tonight, but it'll be good to see everybody. I already ran out and I had a couple things to pick up, and there was a Walgreens across the street. So I saw James Hara out there on the street, and then I bumped into Buck Reed. So everybody's gathering. The team is gathering here. So I will talk to you later. Okay, I'm Mr. Ramble at this point. I'm done rambling. I'm going to get the... Oh, I just remembered what I was going to say. Okay, I got to Burbank Airport and I bumped into Robbie Krieger, the guitarist from The Doors. And it was kind of sad. I was booked to do a rock and roll fantasy camp. It was going to be Robbie Krieger, myself, Stuart Copeland, and Jeff Skunk Baxter were the featured guys on this whole thing. And then I got our acoustic group schedule with Lyle, and it's going to be when this camp is going on. And I had to contact them and pull out of doing the camp because, I mean, it's like a couple of months of work with Lyle. There's no way I could say no to it. And they always understand when they're doing these things that things can change. But I was talking to Robbie, and he said, I was doing this because you were on it. And I said, well, I really wanted to do it because you were on, because we've played a little bit, but, I mean, I think back to when I got to play with, worked on one of the Doors albums. I think Full Moon was the title of that, back after Jim had passed away. And my path has crossed with Robbie over the years many times. So we were excited. So he said, oh, I thought you were doing it. And I said, man, I'm really sorry about this. So we gave him a big hug, and he went off to Las Vegas where he was doing something. And I continued on to the gate where we were delayed, and all my bullshit started at that point, traveling. But there's always something when you're traveling. In the old days, boy, when something went wrong, you kind of went, oh, wow, this is unusual. Now, if anything goes right, you go, oh, wow, this is unusual, because it seems like every flight I'm on, something goes wrong with it. And I had to, just in my heart, I kind of knew that things were going to be screwed up when I got to Dallas, only because I got notified that I got upgraded. Because on these things, there's so many people, we travel coach on it, and because of whatever my status with American, they said, oh, we've bumped you up to first class or whatever it is on that. And then of course the flight went off without me, and then when I finally got booked, I was like on the last seat in the back row in coach, which is fine. I just sit there and watch movies for the duration of the flight, and I'm done. I'm not particular about that, but it's just that you get this thing where you go, something's going to go wrong, and it just always seems to. I'm never disappointed because my expectations are so low. So whatever. So I'm rambling again. I'm so sorry about this. Get off, do what you're going to do. I'm going to go do what I do, and I'll see you later. Okay, I'll head you off at the pass. Bye.